Former President Donald Trump's hush money criminal trial in Lower Manhattan entering day 13 as the former president continues to push buttons, you might say, in court.
This after repeatedly failing to abide by the gag order set by the judge before the trial began. Now, Good Day's Robert Moses, he is live in Lower Manhattan with more on the punishment the former president could face if he continues to disobey the judge's order. Robert, the judge seems to be at his wit's end at this point.
Yeah, Tashani and Dan, the judge here was none too pleased with the former president, that is for sure. But he says the last thing he wants to do is to put the former president in jail. Still, he says he will do so if necessary because he says he has a job to do, which is to, quote, protect the integrity of the justice system.
Frankly, you know what? Our Constitution is much more important than jail. It's not even close. I'll do that sacrifice any day.
Former President Donald Trump sounds unbowed by Judge Juan Merchan's threat to jail him if he continues to violate his gag order. It's an unprecedented possibility. A judge threatening to put a former and perhaps future American president behind bars. Early yesterday, Merchan held former President Trump in contempt of court and fined him $1,000 for these comments he made about jurors on April 22nd.
That jury was picked so fast, 95% Democrats. The area is mostly all Democrat. You think of it as just a purely Democrat area. It's a very unfair situation.
After Merchan threatened the former president with jail time, testimony continued. Prosecutors called former Trump Organization controller Jeffrey McConney to the stand. McConney told prosecutor Matthew Colangelo that he never saw a retainer agreement with Michael Cohen. Prosecutors charged the former president with falsifying business records by claiming Cohen had been reimbursed for legal expenses that stemmed from a retainer agreement that in reality did not exist. Authorities say Cohen was actually reimbursed for paying Stormy Daniels to stay quiet about a sexual encounter she claims to have had with Donald Trump. McConney said in court that the Trump Organization's one-time chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, told him to pay Cohen, who received 11 checks, 9 of which McConney said were sent to the White House for then-President Trump to sign.
This is a ridiculous situation. Not fair, but we will fight.
Now to another of the criminal cases involving the former president. The judge involved in the classified documents case in Florida yesterday pushed back a Thursday filing deadline in that case. The significance of that is that it lessens the chances that that case will go to trial before November's election. We're live at the criminal court this morning. Dan, back to you.
All right, Robert, thank you very much.